What's going on, guys? This is the Silver Lining, bringing you another Fate Go video. With the end of the year very close, I think I'm going to talk about my top 5 servants for 2019. Now, a few disclaimers. In no way am I saying these servants are superior to all the others. These are just servants that I am particularly looking forward to because they get me hyped up, if that makes sense. I'm not judging them. Some of them I am judging based on how good they are. Others I'm just judging because I like the look of them and I like their personalities. So without further ado, let's get into it with number 5. As you can see, is Nitocris Assassin, or Swimsuit Nitocris. She is a 4-star. She's a 4-star with some decent attack and HP for an assassin 4-star. Her star absorption is pretty good. Her star generation's not bad. Her Noble Phantasm charge attack, pretty solid too. Her death rate is meh, and her Noble Phantasm charge is about the same as all the others. She has a quick Arts Buster deck with 3 quicks, 2 arts, 1 Buster attack for hits, and 4 on her extra. For her active skills, we have White Imperial Garments, which increases her own defense for 3 turns, increases her own defense further by 30% for a turn, and increases her own debuff resist by 30% for 3 turns. Her second skill is Beach Panic, which is basically taunt and reduces the damage she takes for 3 attacks for 5 turns. And her third skill is Royal Road of Hot Sands A, which increases her attack, increases her Noble Phantasm damage, and increases her Noble Phantasm generation with 20% on her attack and Noble Phantasm generation at level 1, and at 30% at level 2, and Noble Phantasm damage at 10% at 1 and 20% at 2. Overall, Nitocris is pretty good. But we haven't even seen the Noble Phantasm yet. And sorry, I kind of skipped this. The increase of her defense starts at level 10 and then goes up to 30%. Her passive skills are Prezzle Concealment A, which increases her own crit star generation, and Divinity B, which permanently increases her own damage. B+, sorry. Her Noble Phantasm is Sneru Iteru Nile, Cleanse the Impurities Blue and Bountiful Nile. It is a B rank anti-army Noble Phantasm, an arts card with a 3 hit count. It deals damage to all enemies and reduces their defense by 20% for 3 turns, and it has a chance to insta-kill them at overcharge. You will need quite a few. There's quite a lot you need for her. Mostly you'll need shells, you'll need is that feathers? You'll need feathers to ascend her, you'll need the shells for her ascension materials, and you'll also need, what are these called? Ghost Lanterns. You can also see her stats there, and she needs total 1,530,000 bond points to get her to bond 10. Nitocris may not be the best servant in the game, but she is certainly a 4-star I'm looking forward to, and I hope when the summer banner rolls around I can pull her. Moving on, we then have Arthur Pendragon Prototype. Yes, another Artoria / Arthur, but a very good one. One that is currently, I believe, better than the original on the JP version, though I could be wrong on that. He is a 5-star with very good attack and I'm going to say some decent HP stats, though they're still pretty solid. He has a linear growth curve. His star absorption is 100, star generation 10%, Noble Phantasm charge attack 0.84%, Noble Phantasm charge defense 3%, and a death rate of 24.5, the alignment of Lawful Good. His first skill, of course, is Mana Burst, which is a 30% increase at level 1 and a 50% at level 2. His second skill is Instinct A, 5 stars at level 1, 15 at level 10. And finally, his third skill is different from Artoria's, if I'm not mistaken, because instead of Charisma, he gets Gigantic Beast Hunting, which increases his own damage against large enemies, hint hint, such as the Demon God Pillars, and charges his own Noble Phantasm gauge by 20%. It starts at 50% for the extra damage and 100% at level 10. He's more made for defeating giant and larger enemies such as dragons and stuff, but he's still pretty solid. His passive skills are Magic Resistance A, which increases his debuff resist, and Riding B, which increases quick performance. His Noble Phantasm is EX ranking with no classification. It is a Buster type Noble Phantasm with 3 hits, called Excalibur, the Sword of Promised Victory. It deals damage to all enemies, and Overcharge increases his own Noble Phantasm damage for 1 turn. To ascend him and get his skills up, you will mostly be needing the Great Knight medals, and we all know those are a pain to farm up, but you know, what has to be done has to be done. You'll also need a good amount of hero proofs, and you'll need some Dragon Reverse Scales to ascend him, and Spirit Roots and Primordial Langnugo to get his skills up. And for the bond points, you will need 1,655,000 to get him to bond 10 to get his bond CE. Honestly, Arthur, I kind of want because I want to collect all of the Artorias. I currently, as of this moment in the game, I only have MHX, I have Rider Alter, I have Lancer Alter, and I have Lancer. I'm still missing Saber Alter and the regular Saber, which I can hopefully get sometime in the future. Arthur is, I'm going to say he's a good servant, pretty solid, but I feel like in the future there will be better Saber choices out there, and there might be 1 or 2 Saber choices that you might want to pick over him at the moment on NA. Moving on from Arthur, we then move on to Mysterious Heroine X Alter. Again, obvious bias here because I want all the Artorias, and MHX Alter is kind of cute. She's a 5-star Berserker, which I'm severely needing. I don't know, I don't actually, now I want to quickly say, I don't know much about the stats of all the servants, but MHX I feel has quite a low attack stat, especially for a Berserker, and her HP is even better, is actually better than Arthur's. Her Star Absorption is the worst you'll ever see, her Star Generation doesn't fare much better, her Noble Phantasm Charge attack, however, is very good, her Noble Phantasm Charge defense is also quite good, and her death rate is you know, kind of standard. She has a Quick Arts Buster deck with 3 hits on her Quick, 2 hits on her Arts, 4 hits on her Buster, and 5 hits on her Extra, meaning she's going to be pretty good for... She's going to be used mostly for getting hits and charging up her Noble Phantasm for spamming. Her first hit is Infinite Black Bean Paste EX, which increases her own healing received for 3 turns, and then recovers her own HP. At level 1 the healing rate is 10 and her heal is at 1000, and at level... So did I say at level 10 it's that? At level 1 her healing rate is 20% and the healing is 1000, and at level 10 her healing rate is 50% and the recovered HP is 2000. Which means using this skill at level 10 she will be getting, if I just do some quick math in my head, 3000 health. Moving on, we have her second skill, Instinct. At level 1 it gives 4 crit stars and level 10 it gives 14. However, she does get a strengthening quest around the same time as Enkidu and the actual Mysterious Heroine X, which increases her skill to Instantaneous Shadowless Blade, which increases her quick performance for 3 turns and gives her more crit stars. At level 1 she gets 20% quick performance increase and 10 crit stars, and at level 10 she gets 30% increase and 20 crit stars. And her final skill is Sovereign's Invisible Hand. She targets one ally and reduces their critical star absorption by 100% for 1 turn in an attempt to get herself more crit stars, as well as also being a charisma because it gives the entire party an attack buff for 3 turns. That's a pretty good skill. You can also use this to reduce the crit generate if you want. If you're bringing Gil along and someone else in your team has a higher crit generation, you can use this skill to lower their crit absorption, and Gil will get all those delicious stars. That's a pretty good skill. She has Mad Enhancement C, which increases her own Buster performance, and she has Alt Reactor A, which increases her debuff resist, which is so it's basically magic resistance. She has a quick A+ anti-unit Noble Phantasm with 9 hits that deals damage to 1 enemy, called Cross Caliber Black Dragon Twin Blade of Victory, and with Overcharge she deals extra damage to 1 Saber class, which I think is honestly better than Mysterious Heroine X's. It deals extra damage to only Artorias. I think it's only Artorias. It might also be Sabers, but I'm pretty sure it's Artorias. Moving on, she will require She will require a lot of Great Knight medals in order to get her skills and Ascension. She'll need a couple Primordial Lanugo, and she'll need quite a few. What is this? Black oil grease, black tallow, and she'll also need a good amount of Curse Beat Colchis. I can't pronounce that. She will require 1,618,000 bond points in order to get to bond 10, to get her unique CE Dark Knight Kun. Overall, she's not the best Berserker. In terms of usability, this is well after Merlin has already arrived in the game and has ruined the quick meta, but overall she's still a good Berserker. And if you're going up against Sabers, you can slap a Kaleidoscope on. Her, quickly get her Noble Phantasm up, and you can destroy that Saber with all you have. Moving on to number 2 now, we have Nero Claudius Caster. Another Summer Servant like Nito. She has quite high attack for a caster, but quite low HP for one as well. Her star absorption is about average. Her star generation is very good, but sad. But I feel, well, not very good. It's decent. I take it back. It's decent. Her Noble Phantasm charge is kind of low, but that gets made up for with the amount of hits on her, the amount of hits she gets with her cards. Her Noble Phantasm charge defense is average, and her death rate is 42. She has a quick Arts Buster deck with 4 hits on her quick, 6 hits on her Arts, 2 hits on her Buster, and 6 hits on her Extra, meaning that low Noble Phantasm charge rate just doesn't really matter, because you'll be charging up her Noble Phantasm at lightning speed with hits like that. Her 3 skills are Runaway Privilege, which increases her own Noble Phantasm gauge, and if your own HP is less than 50%, it increases her Noble Phantasm generation for 3 turns. At level 1, it's a 30% for each, and at level 10, it's a 50% for each. Her second skill is the 7 Crowns, which increases her own attack for 3 turns, increases her own defense for 3 turns, and ignores class disadvantage when taking damage for 3 turns. This, I believe, outside of the final battle in Salamon, is the first instance we see of a card utilizing something like this. And it is very good, meaning she will not take extra damage from Berserker or Rider class enemies, just neutral. The amount of attack and defense increased is 20% at level 1, and at 10% it's 30. And finally, her third skill is Unyielding Magus A, which is a targetable guts buff to any ally 1 time for 3 turns and increases their attack for 3 turns. At level 1, it's 30% increase, and at level 10, it's a 50% increase. The cooldown is a bit high, but it's more than worth it when it's a skill like this. She has quite a few passive skills, with Riding B, which increases her quick performance, Territory Creation A, which increases her own arts performance, and then she has Item Construction Odd EX, which is kind of strange considering she doesn't have any heal. She doesn't really have anything to heal her, but you know, more healing is always nice, considering you might need to heal her a few times when her health isn't the greatest. She has a rank A anti-army Buster Noble Phantasm with 5 hits, called Lauda Lentum Domus Illustrious Golden Theatre Praised in Song. First, she ignores invincibility for 1 turn and deals damage to all enemies. That's very good. And her overcharge increases her own Noble Phantasm damage again for 1 turn. 20% at 100% and 60% at 500% charge. It seems like she'll require quite a few feathers to ascend her and level up her skills, and also might require a couple of pages, which I'm actually desperately needing on my NA version. But nothing too crazy. She will require 1,640,000 bond points to get her unique bond CE, Domus Aurea de Curcubumare? I don't know how to say that. Overall though, Tamamo is actually one of the best casters in the game, and considering she can bust a Brave Chain when needed, combined with someone like Merlin or Waver, she will destroy any assassin you put in front of her, no matter who they are. And finally, number 1 for 2019, I feel like all of you may have seen this coming, but 1, 2, 3, it's Old Man Hassan. Of course it's Old Man Hassan. It will never not be Old Man Hassan. Look at this beast. He is, without a doubt, tied for the top assassin in the game with Jack, and personally, I feel like he ekes out just ahead of her. That's how good he is. His attack is astonishing. His HP is also astonishing for an assassin. His star absorption is kind of average. but still very good. His star generation is ridiculous. His Noble Phantasm charge attack is pretty good. His Noble Phantasm charge defense is higher than average. His death rate is also, but his death rate is pretty high, but it doesn't really matter thanks to one of his passive skills. Oh, we'll get to that. He has a Quick Arts Buster deck. 5 hits on the Quick, 3 hits on the Art, 1 hit on the Buster, and 6 hits on the Extra. You will charge this man's Noble Phantasm gauge with a simple, by an insane amount, with a simple Buster Quick Arts attack. It is crazy how much Noble Phantasm you get, and crit stars. His first skill is Battle Continuation EX, which grants Self-Guts 1 time for 5 turns. At level 1, the Guts is 3,000. At level 10, it's 5,000. It's probably the craziest Guts in the game, still, after his release. Then we have Protection of the Faith, a triple plus, which increases his own debuff resist for 3 turns, recovers his own HP, increases his defense for 1 turn, and increases his own attack for 3 turns. At level 1, his debuff resist is at 50%, his healing is at 1,000, his defense is at 20%, and his attack is at 10%. And at level 10, his debuff resist is 100%, his healing is 2,500, his defense is 40%, which is insane, and his attack is at 20%. And as if he wasn't already powerful enough, his third skill is Evening Bell EX, which reduces all enemies' instant kill resistance for 3 turns, and then increases his own Buster performance for a turn. At level 1, the death resist taken away is 50%, and the Buster is 30%. And at level 10, it's 100% and 50%. It is one of his craziest skill is probably definitely Protection of the Faith, though. All those buffs are insane. He has 4 passive skills, as opposed to most servants, which I find have 2 to 3. He has Magic Resistance B, which increases debuff resistance. Presence Concealment A, which increases his crit star generation, as if he needed more. His Independent Action B, which increases his crit damage. And at the Boundary A, his craziest passive skill, because it does 3 things. He grants himself instant kill immunity at all times, meaning someone like Shiki's Noble Phantasm will absolutely not insta-kill him. He has a permanent own charm resistance by 100%, meaning people like Stheno and Euryale can't charm him. And finally, he has a 5% chance to instant kill enemies with a normal attack. I don't know if this needs to keep being said, but he is insane. And we haven't even and we're now just reaching his Noble Phantasm, which is a C-rank Noble Phantasm anti-unit buster with 1 hit, Azrael, the angel that announces death. It deals damage to 1 enemy and it has a 100% charge, has a 100% chance to instant kill them, and at 500% charge, it's a 200% chance to instant kill. This also means that he can Buster Brave Chain, and the amount of damage he gets off in this instant, combined with his skills, is crazy. That's not even mentioning the support he could get from someone like Merlin or Waver. God. As for his skills, you'll need quite a few Evil Bones and Chains to get his skills up and ascend him. You'll also need a crazy amount of Stingers and a kind of decent amount of Ghost Lanterns. Everything else is kind of not too crazy apart from those 3. So it's actually much more manageable than some of the other servants you'll see, though. And finally, his bond level. He requires 1,680 bond points for his unique bond CE, the Rift of the Valley, which, when equipped, increases his own debuff resistance by 100%. Overall, I personally feel like King Hassan is the best servant coming out in 2019. Yes, there are a lot of others. You're going to get Sherlock Holmes, who is insane in his own right. You're going to get Abigail, who's the first foreigner, who's okay, but she's not the best. And you're going to get Ereshkigal, who is basically the Queen of the Lancers. But this man, this assassin, the first Hassan, the King Hassan, honestly, I'm pretty sure he qualifies for Grand Assassin if I'm not remembering my lore incorrectly. But I don't think he is. What is it? Sadly, no, he is. He's definitely the Grand Assassin. See, he's the Grand Assassin, the best assassin in the game thus far. Well, again, personal opinion on that point, and he is amazing in every way, shape, and form. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications so you always see when I post a video. Also, don't forget to leave a like, and don't be afraid to comment, comment your own opinions down in the comments. Tell me what you thought of the video, if there's any way I can improve. I am the Silver Lining, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.